What makes a good emergency plumber?
Well, Chris, before you start, what makes an emergency a good emergency plumber is the first and foremost is when people phone you up, you've got to answer the phone. And I hear time and time again when people come through, you're the third plumber I've phoned. It's not science. All you've got to be is at the end of the phone most of the time, and then you can answer the call as they come in.
So when people call your number, they come straight through to you?
Yes, just use the mobile number and I'm at the end of that number with a phone ready to take your call.
Okay, so no receptionist who's got to then go and find you and get you to call?
No, just use the telephone number and I'm there. I'll answer it personally.
Brilliant. I guess you see a lot of different things as an emergency plumber.
We do.
What's the most common one that you see?
It's job to define what is the most common one, but I would guess it's probably inaccessible leaks, where people are phoning up, I've got water coming through the ceiling, and I ask the question, what's above? I don't know, which is probably, they don't know, but it's my job to come out and find it. But what we do find when we get to the job, it's where's the stop taps? Where's the turning off valves? And it's surprising how many people don't know. In this day and age, you should know where all your stop taps are and make sure they work. It makes my life so much easier and saves you money.
I guess there are a lot of things that are variable in an emergency. You quite often don't know what you're coming into exactly.
Well, first of all, Chris, I don't know when it's going to come.
Exactly. So, as a homeowner, what can I do when I've got an emergency to help you the most?
Okay, let me just turn that back on yourself a bit. Don't wait for an emergency. Good practice is to always, make sure things are tidy, up to date. Make sure you know where all your stop taps are and that they work. It's surprising how many call outs I get where I come along, I get there fairly quick, but I have to spend another 10 minutes trying to find out where the stop taps are. Householders can really save money by knowing where all their valves are.
So don't wait for an emergency, find out where your stop tap is.
Yes, and when the emergency does come, everything is quite simple to do. And water is a big problem, but I can solve it for you.
And of course they can get the water switched off and stop the damage.
Well, they can quite often turn off the water themselves, but I'm afraid when emergencies do come about, panic takes over. And one of the quickest ways to resolve that panic is for phone up and let somebody else take the problem, i.e. me.
So once I give you a call to come out, I've got an emergency, how quickly can you get to the job?
You want me to turn up straight away, don't you? First and foremost, it depends on where you are and the time of day. But to give you an idea, if you phone up at 10 o'clock in the morning and let's say I'm not at a job, then I can pretty well get to anywhere within Oxford itself, probably in about 20 minutes. And to anybody who's got an emergency, 20 minutes is not a long time. It's fairly quick, and we're quite proud of that.
Great. So, obviously rush hour, that may vary.
It does vary. It depends on where you are and the traffic. And as you know, round in cities, etc., the traffic does play a big part. But generally, I like to get to anywhere within reason, within the hour. And that is a very good service.
Now, there's one thing, an emergency being the nature of an emergency, you're not always prepared for it. So what if I've got an emergency and I don't have the cash? Didn't happen to have any cash with me.
It's not necessary to have the cash with you. We take payment in quite a few different forms. You have to nowadays. The most common payment is by cheque. If that isn't available, then we allow you to do internet banking. Most people have got the internet's all up and running nowadays, so that's very simple. But we've actually mostly gone over to PayPal now, and that's this little gizmo here. The people got it. You put the card in, put your numbers in, and then it'll go straight to PayPal. I have nothing to do with it itself. It's all secure, and people quite often pay that way now. So credit cards are available.
So pretty much any way of paying is acceptable?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're happy to take any format.
The other thing about an emergency situation is you never know what time of day or day of the week it's going to come up.
or what you require.
No.
You know, these emergencies, they do come out of the blue sometimes, but I've learned over a period of many, many years of what you need to know what went on many years ago with the plumbing trade to understand the type of repair that you'll be faced with. And we've learned now that we carry the common denominators of most repairs, i.e. material-wise. And if you ever saw my van, you would realise what I mean. That van is stuffed to the brim with repair items. And we can repair just about anything within that first visit. When you get an emergency, everything sort of like comes to a halt. You can't think past that problem. But I turn up, I look at it, because I'm not emotionally involved with your emergency, I get down to the job, I sort it all out, I go out to the van, I bring in the materials, and usually within the hour it's all over and done with. And people are very thankful.
Yeah. So there are two factors there. One, it could happen at night.
Yes, it does.
You couldn't go to a plumber shop at that time.
Oh, of course you could.
Yeah, you can't go to a builder's merchant because they're closed. So you have to have the spares on the van at that time.
We carry the spares on the van, and it's not a great problem for us. It just sounds as though it could be a problem from your point of view, but for us it's not.
And of course the other key factor is it could happen at night. You're available at night?
We're available at night. The vans are fully kitted out with lighting systems. I can even supply a temporary light into the house for you.
So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Just give us a call. We'll turn up.
All right. Good to know.